What's up, citizens? I'm Seerthe6th, your salty aerospace technician, and above me is your salty game developer, Mr. Execute. Together, we make up the Info Runners, combined with a couple other gentlemen who are also enthusiasts of Star Citizen. And as a group, we will speculate. We will talk about past, present, future game development, and we'll just give our thoughts and opinions based on our personal experiences within the game and in real life. And we have fun doing it. We'll argue, we'll agree to disagree and such. So if you like us, you can like and subscribe. You can leave a comment below on your thoughts on whatever we're talking about, or and as well as you can support us on Patreon if you'd like to. So that being said, today we're going to be talking about the tier 0 or point 0.5 or whatever you want to call it for the medical gameplay. And we'll be giving our towards the end we'll be giving our thoughts on the Cutlass Red, which is available for everyone in the PTU. So if you can do it and you have the time, I highly recommend you give it a try and give feedback to CIG. The more people who give feedback, then that just helps them tailor the ship as such, and then give us a better finished product, so to speak.
That said, I don't think it's a ship that you're going to be able to miss because I think everyone's going to have this one. Long story short,
Oh
but
my
yeah,
gosh, for real. I mean, you can't miss it. It's bright freaking red.
yeah,
But with that being said, let's start off with tier 0.
yep,
So right now with this whole thing, we've been able to heal ourselves with the use of medipens. With this tier 0, we are now able to use these ICUs, or the intensive care units that
yep,
are available on going to be 2 ships, soon 3, which I'll get to in a minute.
yep,
We're going to be able to respawn and treat ourselves.
yep,
And the one word I have to say is effort.
yep,
One thing that people like me and you have discussed over time, and even people like Salty Mike, who talks about this all the time, we want to see more gameplay loops. And we're not asking for a full fidelity gameplay loop. It's just something small. This is small and it's effort, and we get to give feedback on it. It's awesome. I like it.
yep,
And it's just like me and you were discussing earlier. It's just one tiny step to persistence, like
yep,
maybe a grain of salt toward
yep.
persistence. So I mean, you get the idea. So before we dive any further, I'll kick it off to you. What are your thoughts? What do you like? What do you dislike? If
Um,
there's anything.
I think, as I said before the show, I think this has the potential to mix up the meta more than any other ship in a really, really long time. Just the ability to respawn kind of anywhere is going to be fundamentally fantastic. We're going to be able to
It's gonna be convenient.
explore further without risk of dying. I think at the moment a lot of people hang towards the spawn points. This is going to, being able to have a movable spawn point, people are just going to be able to explore the entire solar system, combining that with other ships like the 890 Jump, which I'm sure you'll talk about in a minute.
Hmm.
I think throughout, but fundamentally at the moment that bed is basically just a med pen station. So if you're out of med pens, it basically works as a med pen. So
Yes, correct.
yeah, but
Now, what speaking of med pens, the ICUs, so to speak, currently won't replace the med pen. It just gives you an option because one, the med pen is instantaneous. You press a key and you're immediately healed.
yep,
Some you only can carry 2 at a time in most armor sets.
yep,
So what the ICU provides is the fact that if you are able to, you can go back and heal if you're not in critical condition or bleeding out. If you are, then you might as well hit that medi pen. And
yep,
obviously later on the gameplay is going to be tailored as such.
yep.
And I'll
So we
let you
should,
talk about that,
yeah, we should talk
Mr.
about
Game
that.
Developer.
So the way I kind of explained this before to see before the show, and I think he agrees. But long story short,
I do.
if you look at the way they're doing ships at the moment with time to kill, they are moving it to a time to disable. It would be a similar thing to that. So at the moment, we've got a very vanilla. I hit my health med pen and it really restores me to full. Now to translate that across, you can already see that they've got the different levels of beds that I'll talk about in a bit. But basically, if you can think of it in some other games, like you get shot in the arm, maybe you can't use it. You can only use a pistol because you've only got one arm free, or you get shot in the leg and you get a limp, so you move slower. It could be something as simple as that. It could be more complex than that. It's whatever they work out how detailed they want to go, and it's finding that thing between realism
Happy balance.
and realism and I'm trying to think what the other word would call it. Realism and
Realism and like
you want the
in
fun, basically.
casual. Yeah,
where realism and casual is kind of what you would call it, like simple and realism. Because let's face it, realistic is usually complicated, and
very.
simple is usually not realistic enough. So you want something between those two and hit that
Just a happy
fun,
medium.
yeah, and hit that fun point. The
Yeah.
example I gave to Seer would be Battlefield. How Battlefield has some realism, but it's got some simpleness to it, and that makes it a lot more fun. And that's how I think it's an example that Chris Roberts himself has given in the past, so it's another good one to use. And I think
Yep.
he'll probably strive for that with the medical gameplay as well.
Yeah. So, now let's get to the part of so with the ICUs, the reason why I'm saying ICUs is because we're gonna have two ships now and three pretty soon that are
Yep,
going to be able to have med base. So you have your 890 jump, and PTU wise, you have your Cutlass Red, and
yep.
then soon to be the Carrack. And
I-
there's different levels of ICUs, and like each, like so to speak, in terms of medical gameplay, you're gonna have different tiers, which I'll let XQ explain in a minute. But essentially, what you have now for things like the 890 jump, for example, is you have a mobile base. You
Yep.
have this big ass ship that can theoretically it can carry some cargo when it's not bugged. You can
Hmm.
have a rover in the bottom as well, and you can have a ship like a 315P or even a prospector that you can fit in the hangar. So then you can literally go land on a planet, take a prospector, go fly around, do your mining or whatever you want to do, and then take it back up into atmosphere or leave it and just have that base of operations for multiple people at once. And if the beds start working finally, and that like once the bugs are fixed, as I mean, then
Mm.
you can have people log out in space, log back in, and continue doing what they're doing as a little group. It just keeps them closer together. And if they die, then that's fine because then they can just respawn back at 890 jump rather than, oh crap, I spawned. Like we all met up and decided to make our spawn the port Tesla
Yep.
above Microtech, but we flew off to Hurstgen to do a mission.
Mm.
Instead of me going back there, I'm just spawning right back inside the 890 jump and assume my position again. Something like
I
that.
think you should also mention what we found in the PTU is there is actually now two types of spawns. You get an ICU spawn and you get like a location spawn or like a port spawn. I don't know what they call it. But yeah, if your ship is destroyed, say you set your ICU spawn as the Cutlass Red and you can respawn there, but say the ship is destroyed, you will then respawn at your previously preset like port spawn, so say Port Alisar, and as
Exactly.
soon as that's done, it actually deletes your ICU spawn, and you have to set it again.
Yeah.
So there's now two spawns, which is kind of interesting as well.
Yeah. So if you don't want to spawn back in your Cutlass Red, just don't set your ICU. Just go flying around and go there. Or if your Cutlass Red doesn't die and you die, then you'll just spawn back in one of the beds. And it's actually
Mm.
cool when you set it because it flashes green, but that's not the major thing. So
There are
yeah,
some
it's
cool
not.
effects on those beds, though. I do like the scanning beam thing and stuff.
So speaking of different tiers, can you quickly and briefly go over the different
Okay,
tiers that we have for medical
so
for ICUs?
where we know there are three types of levels of beds at the moment, with one being the highest and three being the lowest. Um, in the Apollo, as an example, we know that you can fit three beds in one room, but only one bed, because it also requires more energy and stuff like that, which makes sense. But a tier one bed can heal the most catastrophic stuff done to your body. So, say you lose a limb, it can repair that or something like
It's
that.
it's like it's
But
dead.
a tier three can only, like, at the moment, like it's a medipen, it's very low level, so cuts and bruises and scratches and maybe a bullet wound and stuff like that. But as these
It's
tiers become more developed, like we were saying about when it becomes more like time to disable rather than time to kill, these beds will become a lot more flushed out in the different levels of
yep.
problems and situations that you have.
Yeah. So I think with all that being said, now in terms of we got maybe an hour and a half or so playing around with the Cutlass Red, and to be quite frank, exterior wise, it's the exact it's a Cutlass, it's a regular Cutlass
Yep.
with a couple minor outside features reskinned, and the meat and potatoes are in the inside of the ship
Yep.
for the most part, I will
But
say. So
that blood red paint job is
I
pretty
love it.
generous. Yep.
I like it. But inside, I mean, we've already went through this. You have two
Yep.
beds. ICUs. You have 4 crew beds.
Yep.
I would say 2 for the medical officers and 2 for the actual crew members, being
I'd agree
your
with that.
pilot and your
Or you
co-pilot.
and doctor and nurse, or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I get what you
Yeah,
mean.
your 2 medical staff.
Yep.
We'll just put it as that. You lose the jump seats actually,
Yep.
and so with that being said, that makes it an actual true airlock
Mm-hmm.
because this is designed to save people. You don't want people able to just bleed out, even though it has the docking collars.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people are more naturally flown to use bigger exits unless like something's about to go wrong. So
Yep.
you would naturally use the back ramp, and you're not going to blow out the freaking oxygen, kill
Yep.
everybody in there. So that's something.
But another tiny thing is those docking collars. The normal Cutlass Black has lost that now, so this can actually dock
Yeah,
with other ships
they're just
and stations.
like door gunners.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting because that's such a small window between the back fin and the engine nacelle. It's like you're probably going to have a long truss that connects
They
to it.
actually, yeah, they actually explain how that works, and it's a big thing that comes out, like it does in airplanes today. They kind of explain that.
Okay, like a sky bridge. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
Okay, and but
the toilet as well. They removed the turret,
the toilet.
and so the turret's now remote, and you get a toilet.
Yeah, the turret is a spotlight, and it can be controlled by either the pilot or via remote access of the co-pilot. Personally, I feel like there should be one below too,
Yep.
instead of just on top. But to caveat again, I know the pilot has his own, or the pilot, they have their own lights.
Yep.
They have their own floodlights, so to speak. So
Like you
you're gonna have
said,
a decent range.
like you said before
Hmm?
the show, though, it'd probably be better if they only did have one, if it was on the bottom, because then when you're going along the surface of planets and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually put the light down, because at the moment, well, you could always fly upside down, I guess, but the
Oh,
passengers in the
go
back won't
inverted.
like that too much. But yeah,
Yeah. Let's see, the lighting issue.
yep,
That is something, if I can give any feedback, which I need to make a post to Spectrum, but
mm-hmm.
if you guys agree with me, please let this know to them as well, because they even said in the last Inside Stars Star Citizen Live about vehicle gate feedback,
Yep,
please, they said do it in Spectrum. The lighting, I understand, at least the ICU section, it needs better lighting.
yep.
100%. This is the same issue with the Starfire Gemini. I went down to Daymar and I opened up everything I possibly could have let light in. The lighting, there's just very poor lighting right now in the Cutlass Red, and
It's the
I would
same as
hope
the Cutlass Black Lightning, but as you said, being a medical area, every medical place I've ever been has those really
it is
high
bright.
beam fluorescent lights. Yeah,
You need to be able to see everything.
yeah.
Nothing can't be
Even
too
if
dark. Everything needs to be bright,
even if you
not too
didn't do it
bright.
on the whole area, but just like maybe fluorescent lights on the beds
Over the
themselves. Yeah,
ICUs
yeah,
to
yeah.
like kind of like light up the
Like
area.
those, the
Yeah,
dental lights that you move in and shit when you go to the dentist, something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
It's low tech Drake, so a low tech light might be the solution, but yeah,
Shots
um,
fired.
yeah,
Okay, and so with that being said, I think it's cool. Execute thinks it's cool.
yep,
It's posted the Cutlass Red. We're not going to get into its role or anything, but one thing I did notice is up until like a couple days ago, believe it or not, this thing has been available forever. Like it's always been on the store,
yep,
regardless if you wanted it or not. And they recently took it off. You
yeah,
can't CCU to it now, and you can't buy it outright as a standalone. So I think, and Execute thinks it's about to go up in price, so they took it down. Lucky enough, I CCU'd to one, but I CCU'd my 315p to a Cuddy Red before it went out, so I got the last deal, and then I bought back my actual game package for it, and we both agreed it's going to be around. I would say it's going to be around 300, 300, $135, but I've already
yep,
heard leaks of people saying it's going to be around
yeah.
175.
Uh,
I feel like if it was that price, that's $100 shy of a Medivac.
Yeah, I'd be
The
really
Apollo Medivac.
surprised. Most ships in that area only go up between $5 to $15. I just don't see it jumping more than that.
Yeah,
And if it
I
actually
agree.
went
I
up
don't see it.
above the Cutlass Blue, I'd be really surprised, because that would
The
mean
Colors Blue's 152, right? Well,
uh, no, I
something
don't know.
like that.
I'd have to go look it up. But the point I'm trying to make is they then have to make a CCU from the blue to the red. You see, so that's extra work. So I actually think that's the limitation. It cannot be higher in price than the blue. Because
Fair
all those CCUs that they have, it would stuff their system. So I think I think that's the There's no way it's going to 175 in my book. It cannot go higher than the price of the blue just because based on all the work it would create.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's sound
So
logic, don't you? But anyway,
no, I agree.
yeah.
I don't. I mean, we all know ships are going to increase in price once they become flight ready and able. It's just a given, but I
Yep.
don't think it's going to be that exponential. So
Yep.
with that being said, let's see. So we discussed what we thought our thoughts on the tier
Yep.
0. We discussed
I'd like to add though. I think I understand why they're going to increase the price because I think they see the potential of how popular this ship's going to be. I think that's why it's getting an increase.
It's the first of it's the first of a gameplay loop, so to speak. It's the first medical ship of the medical gameplay.
Not even
loop.
that. Just remove that completely. It's the fact that you've got a mobile spawn point.
Yeah,
like,
that too.
You can add that to any group in the entire game, and it adds a benefit.
Okay.
Just straight off the bat. And I think, as you said, any group that goes out, they will go out with this as a second ship. So you go out with a mole.
At least for combat.
Yep, combat. I think if you go out with a mole, someone will take one as a mole, so they can search around and they'll look for minerals and go, "Oh, this is a shit rock. This is a good rock." Why everyone else moles?
Let's not make it. Let's not overhype people. That's if they don't say that's a bug and they take that feature away.
Yeah, it does have really good scanners though, so that's the other thing. When we were flying,
we'll see.
Tell other people.
We'll see if they keep it.
Tell people about your scanning thing.
So when I was flying it passively found ore for me. It would I didn't have to scan, and it would show me this rock has ore in it. This rock has ore in it. It would show the actual ore emblem and a little diamond if it was a FPS mineable, and that's when I did not ping. So when I did ping, it was ore everywhere. Yeah. Well, asteroids, minables everywhere, and I was like, I don't know if this is intended. Yeah. And I was saying that what you could do for
being the Cutlass Red, rather than being one that finds minerals, it'll probably be a bioscanner designed to find people. So at the moment, we've only got one scanner.
That's what it's supposed to do.
So once you divide that out into its different scanning things, it's not going to find any rocks at all, probably. It's only going to find snails and bodies, so.
Yeah, we'll see if it stays, but for now, I'll just say that it's cool, but I don't think it's going to stay. If they keep it, they keep it. If they don't, they don't. But to quickly wrap this up.
Yep.
So I think again, tier 0. Again, everything is subject to change.
Yep.
I think this is gonna be. We both think it's gonna be a viable option in terms of the ICU. This just makes our lives easier for us in the solo perspective and us as a gameplay perspective, incorporating our friends and our org mates into it. So. And I mean, if you want something like this, again, the Cutlass Red will be the cheaper one for now.
Yep.
And I already touched base that the Carrick will have this as well. Gabe Carrick. And so
I'll just add to that then, and I'll let you just say I think from release to the next 6 to 12 months, this will easily be one of the most common ships in the entire game. And I think from the reasons we've stated, it's pretty clear why. But yeah, I'd expect this to be a really common ship for those reasons. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my timer going off to make sure we did everything in under a certain amount of time. But yeah. So, I mean, we haven't got the real picture of it yet. I'm sure we're going to get more info this week if they bring back Inside Star Citizen, because Jared kind of hinted to it when he was trying to hush them up during last Friday's live stream.
Yep.
So with that being said, stand by for our buyer's guide on the Cutlass Red. And with that being said, I've been Seerthe6th. This has been Mr. Execute. Again, if you like what we do, you can like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Join us on Discord. Links in the description. We try our best to answer the questions here and in Discord. We're looking for people to do Find My Fleet or Fix My Fleet, excuse me. So if you saw our Buyer's Remorse video and you feel like your fleet's not where it is, then feel free to join us and we can collaborate with you and make a video or talk to you personally and just give you our tips on what we feel like your fleet should be in terms of what you want it to be. And again,
let us know your thoughts on
Patreon.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the Cutlass Red and what your initial impressions are of it if you've flown it out, and
the tier 0 medical gameplay. Are you excited? We know it's supposed to be in 3.9, and it's a blessing.
I think that's the big thing,
effort.
and I probably should have mentioned that too. That I actually think that you'll be able to eventually soon spawn at hospitals and stuff too. So I think we're going to see that
Hey,
permeate across.
only
the
time will tell.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Catch you guys later.
All right. Yep. Have a good one.